The False Gems by Guy de Maupassant. Monsieur Lantin had met the young girl at a reception at the house of the second head of his department, and had fallen head over heels in love with her. She was the daughter of a provincial tax collector who had been dead several years. She and her mother came to live in Paris, where the latter made the acquaintance of some of the families, hoping to find a husband for her daughter. The young girl was a perfect type of virtuous woman. Her simple beauty had the charm of angelic modesty, and her imperceptible smile seemed to be the reflection of a pure and lovely soul. Her praises resounded on every side. People never tired of repeating, "Happy the man who wins her love. He could not find a better wife." Monsieur Lantin, then chief clerk of the Department of the Interior, enjoyed a snug little salary of 3,500 francs, and he proposed to this model young girl and was accepted. He was unspeakably happy with her. She governed his household with such clever economy that they seemed to live in luxury. She lavished the most delicate attention on her husband, coaxed and fondled him, and so great was her charm that 6 years after their marriage, Monsieur Lantin discovered that his love for his wife was even more than during the first days of their honeymoon. He found fault with only two of her tastes: her love for the theater and her taste for imitation jewelry.
You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? Another star, you fade away. Afraid our aim is out of sight. Wanna see us alive.
Her friends frequently procured for her a box at the theater, and her husband was obligated to accompany her, whether he wished it or not. After a time, Monsieur Lantin begged his wife to request some of her acquaintances to accompany her and to bring her home after the theater. She opposed to this arrangement at first, but after much persuasion, finally consented to the infinite delight of her husband. One evening in winter, she had been to the opera, and returned home chilled through and through. The next morning she coughed, and 8 days later she died of inflammation of the lung. Monsieur Lantin's despair was so great that his hair became white in 1 month. He wept unceasingly. His heart was broken as he remembered every charm of his dead wife. He put it in his pocket and started out in search of a reliable jeweler's shop. At length he found one and went in, feeling a little ashamed to offer such a worthless article for sale. "Sir," said he to the merchant, "I would like to know what this is worth." The man took the necklace, examined it, and made some remarks in an undertone, and looked at it from a distance to judge of the effect. With astonishment, Monsieur Lantin took up the necklace and left the store. A few minutes after, he entered another store in the Rue de la Paix. This time, Monsieur Lantin was dumbfounded. He said, But, examine it well. Until this moment I was under the impression that it was imitation." He wandered aimlessly through the streets, his mind in a state of dreadful confusion. He tried to reason, to understand. His wife could not afford to purchase such a costly ornament. Certainly not. The earth seemed to tremble beneath him. He threw up his arms and fell to the ground, unconscious. He recovered his senses in a pharmacy. He asked to be taken home. When he reached the house, he shut himself up in his room and wept until nightfall. He soon arrived at Rue de la Paix, but shame kept him back. He was hungry, however, very hungry, and not a cent in his pocket. He decided quickly, ran across the street in order not to have time for reflection, and rushed into the store. The proprietor took from a drawer 18 large bills, counted, and handed them to Monsieur Lantin. As he was about to leave the store, he turned towards the merchant and said, "I have other gems which came from the same source. Will you buy them also?" The merchant bowed. "Certainly, sir." That day, he drank wine worth 20 francs a bottle. Then he hired a carriage and made a tour. He gazed at the various turnouts with a kind of disdain, and could hardly refrain from crying out to the occupants, "I too am rich. I am worth 200,000 francs." 6 months afterwards, he married again.